안녕하세요. 저는 좋습니다. 감사합니다. Hello, I'm back with another K-pop reaction. I got a recommendation for what was described as the beginnings of K-pop. I guess as it's known today, and it seemed really interesting, so I thought, okay, well, let me look this up and let me see what I can find on it, and so hopefully this works, and we're allowed to use the content and everything like that. So because we did go as far back as Wonder Girls, of course, looked at a more recent JYP video, but he's also goes back quite a ways in the K-pop genre history, the time-wise, right? So this is Seo Taiji and Boys, Me and the Boys, right? So this should be fun. This is a throwback to the 90s, and my understanding is that it was actually really cool when I looked it up, right? Because it's another one of these examples. In the beginning, you always have to do pretty much everything, like yourself. And so Seo Taiji is another one of these. He's a singer, musician, composition, songwriting, like everything, right? So this will be interesting. It's was one of these early takes that incorporated a lot of the Western sounds, the hip hop and the pop sounds that were coming out of the West. And if this is coming, if it's all the way back in the 90s, then it's going to be interesting because that was my decade. That's when I was a kid. That's when I was growing up. So I expect it to be very familiar, very nostalgic, a lot of sounds that I should recognize, so let's check it out.
이 밤이 흐르고 흐르면 누군가가 나를 떠나버려야 한다는 그 사실을, 그 이유를 이제는 나도 알 수가 있어요. 사랑을 한다는 말을 못했어. 어쨌거나 지금은 너무 늦어버렸어. 그때 나는 무엇 하고 있었나. 그 미소는 너무 아름다웠어.
Oh man.
난 정말 그대 나를 좋아했어. 나에게 이런 슬픔 안겨주는 그대여. 제발 이별만은 말하지 말아요. 나에겐 오직 그대만이 전부였잖아. 그대여 가지 마세요. 나를 정말 떠나가나요. 그대여 가지 마세요. 나는 지금 울잖아요. Stop! 난 알아요. 이 밤이 흐르면 그대 떠나는 모습을 위로하고 마지막 키스의 슬픈 마음 정말 떠나는가. 사랑을 하고 싶어. 너의 모든 향기 내 몸속에 젖어있는 너의 많은 없는 마음의 마음 그리고 또 마음의 마음 어렵다는 편지는 쓰지 않아도 돼 너의 실한 모습을 바라보고 있어요 아직도 마음속에 내가 있나요 라는 그대의 영원한 난 정말 그대만을 좋아했어 나에게 이런 슬픔 안겨주는 그대요 그대요 가지 마세요 나를 정말 떠나가나요 그대요 가지 마세요 나는 지금 울잖아요 그대요 가지 마세요 나를 정말 떠나가나요 그대요 가지 마세요 나는 지금 울잖아요
Oh man, dude, that's so 90s. It's so good, dude. It's exactly it's like I didn't know what to expect, but all of the elements were there. I mean all of them too. Not just you have 90s hip hop, 90s dance. What a great like very 90s chorus, right? The sort of chanting kind of chorus singing type of chorus that was going on. Even the like metal, the rock, or 90s metal like rock breaks that happen. That was pretty awesome, man. That was pretty awesome. That took me back for sure. Man, talk about like sort of like ahead of its time, no wonder it was a hit. You know what I mean? Like this is still very enjoyable. I mean, that was great. That was a good song, dude. They incorporated absolutely everything. They had they had hip hop lyrics going on. They could sing. Seo's got a nice tenor range. They sounded good, man. They were solid, and they're playing that stuff too. The instrumental breaks and stuff. There was some great synth keys in there. Very minor chord, very dissonant sounding. Definitely in 4. Everything, the aesthetics, the wardrobe, dude, the clothes, the setting with the sort of like clean graffiti writing on the walls, like that stuff is so 90s, dude. That's really, really good, man. That's really cool. Because it reminds me of everything. Like of everything 90s, like everything I can think of, it's just like Vanilla Ice, New Kids on the Block, like the guitar sound, you could pick anything really, but Beastie Boys, you know what I mean? The singing, there's so many different 90s pop acts that had vocal work like that when the song lines come around. I mean, it sounds like everything, dude. It sounds like everything. It sounds like this belongs in a movie soundtrack from the 90s, like it's so quintessentially of that decade, it's just spot on. It's really good, man. Okay, so it's definitely in 4, and it's got a great intro. They even hit him with a "yeah boy" in there. That was pretty much perfect, dude. Okay, check it out. Synth keys, nice descending line, very minor, very dissonant. Punchy percussion, dude. Even the choreo, everything, dude. This takes me back. it's all there. That dancing right there, that's so 90s, dude. Like that's such 90s choreography that's going on. Synth keys, synth strings, also a nice descending line, sort of stepping down each chord, right? And it's very, very dissonant too. Like there's a lot of dissonance in that, which is a bit heavy. I might say even for the time, although it's been a while since I just listened like straight up 90s stuff. Maybe I just remember less dissonance, but it is quite a dissonant sound, but it does work. It's there's enough resolution whenever the chords change. All of it, all the production, all those little hits, all the little tweaked vocals and all of that. This is, like a throwback to 90s turntablism and mixing and stuff. It's all spot on, all of it. Classic hip hop percussive rhythm. Emphasis on the 2 and the 4. Very punchy, very. Nice long intro too. Like this is quite a lot of measures for an intro, which is also very 90s. So.
입안이 흐르고 흐르면 누군가가 나를 떠나버려야 한다는 그 사실을 그 이유를 이제는 나도 알 수가 있어요.
The bass on this is insane, dude. Like it's a little bit, like you really gotta listen to it. I'm hearing it mostly panned left here. And it could just be compression. It's a much older recording. By the time you get a copy of a copy and you upload it to YouTube, the audio is gonna be like compressed. You know what I mean? Like this is not. If you had like an original album pressing or a CD or something, it would sound a lot better. But if you listen in the left, right, the bass on this is insane, and this is played. I can tell that this is not a synth bass. Somebody is playing this, and it's going off, man. It's in 4, but this is mostly on the 16th note subdivisions. The one Ian does, and between 16th and 8th notes, right? But it's very funky, man. It's very dissonant. It's like edgy. It's a really edgy sort of bass line. It's very cool stuff. The percussion too. Percussion like totally steps up, right? At first it was laying down that classic, hip hop sort of beat, right, with the boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka. Now it's all over the place. Now it's going down to that lower subdivision also. So your drum and your bass are working very close together in this. Also, an established thing, definitely 90s, even before that, right? It's so good, dude. A very, very abrupt transition, right, to this metal break that you get here, right? All we're using is like 2 power chords. That's it. We're just going back and forth between 2 power chords, and they're just going off. It's fun, dude. They're just chunking out something on a at least 16th note rhythm here. It's matching like with the drums we're doing, that same type of pace. Man, I'm thinking production wise. Nowadays, you have Pro Tools, you have all this stuff, man. You can have like as many tracks as you want, But if you go back in time, there were limitations to what you can do. 8-track recordings, 8-track tapes were called 8 tracks because you only had 8 tracks. That's all you had. So you would, if you had a band, you had your drums, you had your bass, you had your guitar, you had your rhythms, your keys, or whatever. So that's half your tracks already. It's 4. That's it. That's all you got. So then if you have a lead singer, you have a backup singer. Okay, that's 6 tracks. So now you only have 2 more, right? And if you go back even further earlier than that, you had less. I mean, so you had to figure out what you were gonna do. So when I'm listening to this, I'm hearing production wise, why it's like, okay, a lot of stuff really drops out when you change into this section, and you mostly just hear the guitar and the drums. It's very hard for me to detect the bass. I imagine it's just matching the rhythm of the guitar, boom, 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 boom. Like, I think that's what's going on. It would make the most sense anyway. But it's just another throwback. It's just another layer of a throwback to like this earlier time in production. But it's very cool, man. This is really good. The clothes. The clothes, dude. Great. That's so hooky, dude. That's a hook, dude. That is a 90s hook. It don't matter what language you're singing in. That's a 90s hook, dude. That's so great. The little descending, and then the backing vocalist also coming in, right? That's spot on 90s hook. It's so good, dude. It's so good. Breakdown. Syncopation. Very deliberate syncopation, right? Just at the time, right? It was more abrupt, it was a little less smooth. I mean, hard edging into some like syncopated rhythms like that. It is to kind of like, what was that stuff? Like now I'm really like going back, you know what I mean? And there used to be that like the underground sort of dance tunes that we used to have back in the day. What was it called, man? What was it? Was it underground? It was oh man, it's now I'm like just remembering so many things all at once. But it reminds me of that. You'd get freestyle, that's what it was. Whenever like the breakdancer kids from back in the day, if you remember the 90s, right? It was but whenever the kids that would really like to breakdance and stuff, they were always listening to that freestyle sound, right? And that's what I'm getting from this. Like I'm hearing a lot of freestyle in this, and oh man, what a throwback. So dissonant, dude. Oh man. Oh, it's like, so you have these synth keys that have a very intense rhythm, right? And that's like, because it's synth and the frequencies are so like crazy, that's what's giving it all this dissonance, right? When it's going, there's also some synth strings that are going on, but they're playing whole notes. They're just sustaining, and between that and the percussion that's going on, like there's a balance, because it's such a dissonant sound that's going on in the synth keys, but the sustain of the string sounds, and then the way that the beat holds everything up balances it out. So it's a very strong synth sound, even for like I'm trying to remember. I think even for the time, that's a very, very strong dissonance in those keys. That bass. They're good, dude. They're good. You guys can flow. They're good, dude. They're good. They have really good rhythms in all of their lines. it's good, man. That's impressive. Even by today's standards, like, that's pretty good. That's so good, dude. That's so good. Freestyle. It's so good, dude. It's so good. Oh man, this is perfect, dude. This is. It makes all the sense in the world, man. Like like nothing makes more sense than this. And one of the things, you know, that like the reason that I really enjoy K-pop music is because, to me, it sounds like what contemporary pop music should sound like, because it is informed by everything that came before it, you know. This is why when we listen to, you know, even the stuff that is more recent generation K-pop groups and stuff, you have, you know, elements of rap, R&B, EDM, pop, rock, Latin jazz, reggae. Like, you will hear many different sounds even in just one song. And it's with the times. It's, you know, it's all the subgenres and things that have come about in the last couple of decades, let's say. And this is it's that, but just, you know, 30 years ago. That's what it is. They were doing this. They had the idea already. Like they already knew what to do. And like, it's very well done, dude. It's very well done. Like all aspects of it. The production, it's crazy. Just so it's very rich. It's got all these hits, all these different sounds. The turntablism, you know, just everything is there. Like, it's not missing anything. Incorporating all these different genres, all these different instruments, really great parts that are written for these instruments. A very, very, like, it's a very smart progression. It's a very smart progression, right? To be in a minor key, to have something that dissonant that still works, you know? And then it's a very fun transitions. Again, it, like, you know, I enjoy the transitions in all of the K-pop music, right? And like, they had them back then, dude. This is crazy. This is like, this is blowing my mind right now, because they had this. What a great transition to go from that dissonant, you know, synth keys, strings, sound, from the verse into that metal break, right, into that very pop dance chorus is going on. Like, it gets more consonant as it moves towards that chorus. So by the time the chorus comes around, it feels very enjoyable to hear that, to hear the singing, to hear the chord progression at that point. Like, it's you get resolution every time that these progressions reach sort of a cadence, and then the more consonant sound at that a very hooky chorus just makes it that much more enjoyable by the time you get there. And the other sections are fun. They're just as much fun, you know what I mean, to go through that. All of these funky sounds and rhythms, and the great hip hop, verses that are going on, and then the metal sounds, the rock metal sounds, and then into that very smooth. The chorus is smooth, dude. In contrast to the rest of the song, right? It's very, very smooth, and man, it's just, it's it's a brilliant song. It really is, man. It really is. It's super fun, dude. And it's such a throwback, and it's reminding me of like, oh man, so many things. But yeah, this was really great. This is and it makes all the sense in the world, man. It makes all the sense in the world. So this was very cool, thank you to Yuna for recommending this. 감사합니다, Yuna. This was this was very fun. This was a good one. I do enjoy going back to see the background of this stuff and the earlier acts and hear the earlier sounds and like I said, this was I didn't know what to expect, but I just think 90s, and I just try to remember 90s music, and man, it had everything. Like, it wasn't missing anything at all, and it was actually very impressive. It's a great song, dude. It's solid. This is really good. Seo Taiji and Boys, I know. It was great, man. It's a hit.